What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts 15th anniversary Broly movie, Super Saiyan Blue slash Super Saiyan God, Vegeta. Now, this review will be very different in the way of the ending. The review will go about as normal, but I'd like you guys to also stay at the very end because as many people know, especially Dragon Ball fans, even non like super big Dragon Ball fans know that unfortunately, with a heavy heart, I will say that the legendary Dragon Ball creator, mangaka himself, Akira Toriyama, recently passed away at the age of 68. And I wanted to do a sort of little tribute to Akira Toriyama at the very end, detailing my experiences with his creations and specifically my connection to Dragon Ball over the years. And so I would definitely appreciate if you guys stayed until the end of the video. I'm not going to even be promoting myself at the end of the video. I mean, I'll still leave my links, whatever, in the description, but if this, even though my channel isn't monetized, because I'm obviously not part of the YouTube partner program, if I ever was, this video wouldn't ever be monetized because I just genuinely would like to talk about my experiences with Toriyama. And I felt that during a 15th anniversary of a figure line that really represents, the love for Dragon Ball as a whole. I know the last few releases, a lot of people haven't been the most, like happy about, but at the end of the day, throughout its entire lifetime, this figure line has only wanted to represent the creations that Akira Toriyama made by giving them to us in physical form. And so I felt that for this review, it would be a perfect way to end the video. So, without further ado, taking a look at the box here, you can see it does come with a cover, which is unique. I think this is very cool that they add this. You can see the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta right there, the 15th anniversary stuff. You can also see it here on the other side. You can also see, all the way from back back here gives like a timeline, gives you a nice product shot of Vegeta here. You have the nice blue SH Figuarts 15th anniversary sort of logo right there. And then again on the front, you do have the Dragon Ball Super. I believe that's the Broly logo in Japanese. You have some more stuff here. The Bandai Namco obviously is really nice as well. And then you can just remove the sleeve, and it's pretty much the exact same box as we saw when you got the original figure. And so what we see here, we do have nice product shots of Vegeta. Got the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta right there as well. The toy animation stuff. We got the Broly movie logo, Tamashii Nations, Bandai as well. Got more nice product shots here. Some more nice text here. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta, 15th anniversary version, which this is obviously different. And then you see that is also different here. And then lastly, we do have our other obligatory product shots here on the back. And so I think that's really it for the box. And I think without further ado, we're going to go ahead. Here we do have the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta 15th Anniversary Edition out of the box. And I gotta say, this guy looks fantastic. But what I will address right now is that this is essentially just a re-release of the original figure. The only major difference between this and the original figure is the accessory, and the only major accessory that's extra that's included here is that little 15th anniversary display stand, which I will show off in the accessory section. But for the most part, if you guys have the original figure, you guys already know what to expect with this guy. The reason I'm picking up, personally, I have the original. The reason I'm picking up a second version of this is because I wanted a display for Vegeta both in his Super Saiyan God form as well as a Super Saiyan Blue form, and because you only get one body, obviously you can't display both at the same time, and so this was for me a perfect opportunity to acquire this figure not at scalper prices. And so very happy to actually have this figure, but obviously the big question is he worth getting? So let's take a look at the details here. As you can see, very nice sculpt here on the face. Can't really deny that that is absolutely amazing. Got the nice Super Saiyan blue stoic expression that Vegeta always has. Then you got some more nice details going here through the center section. And then around, it's pretty flat. That's what I will say about this figure, is that there isn't really much shading all around. Again, the boots look also very nice. But yeah, the main issue I have with the way that this figure's visuals are is that there really isn't much shading in his body at all. Like, there's pretty much none at all. And that's a little bit of a shame, but at the end of the day, I do understand that a lot of it also went into the accessories, and I can't really be angry because he does come with some pretty damn cool accessories. But yeah, so overall, really nice on the visuals. It's just that lack of shading really does annoy me a bit. And so, with that quick stuff out of the way, let's move this guy off to the side here, and we'll do some quick comparisons. The first comparison I'd like to do here is with the SH Figuarts 3.0 Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. As you can see, Goku is obviously bigger than Vegeta, but this is canonically how it's supposed to go. Goku's always been bigger than Vegeta. Vegeta's always been a rather short guy. But yeah, as you can see, these two scale fantastically together, and even with the contrast in forms and the different sagas and whatever, these two still look absolutely fantastic together, even in their separate forms here. Really, really cool stuff, and I'm happy with how this scales. And funnily enough, the last comparison we're actually going to do is with the original figure. And as you can see, there's literally nothing different. As I will show you, here is the Super Saiyan God head on the original figure. And this is the new figure. Again, it's just a re-release of the original, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially for those who weren't able to acquire that, which obviously I will address at the end of the video. But yeah, you guys can take a look. These guys are pretty much spot on, exactly the same. I don't think there really is any differences between these two. And so at the end of the day, yeah, I can see, I just noticed that the arm on this guy, the crossed arms on this guy, are a little loose there. Got that fixed right away. But yeah, just to show you guys the original versus the new. And alrighty, folks, let's get into the articulation. And when it comes to the articulation of this guy, it's pretty damn good. You know, it's a Vegeta figure. I can't really deny that's good. The only thing is sometimes he has a little bit of a hard time standing. I do think he is a tad bit top heavy. But his head is on the ball joint, so you do have the joint at the base of the neck and then the joint at the top. So you do get up and down. So you get up and down pretty damn nicely. So you get down about that much, up about that much. You can do a full 360. Shoulders have butterfly joints about that far. Not the craziest, but decent enough. You do get a full 360, and then you get more than 90 degrees at the elbow, and this is going to come undone because I just reattached this. And then you do have an upper rotation here at the bicep, and then wrists are also on ball joints, so you can get a full 360 with those. You do have waist, really good waist, because Vegeta's a small character, and so he doesn't have too much muscle mass, and so it's easy to engineer the waist into it. So you do have a joint here at the top near his abs, and then you have the joint at the bottom of the waist, so you have two, and then you have this one up here as well. And then you do get an ab crunch, so you get decent far forward and really far back, but it does look weird in the front because obviously you can see that huge gap. But he does go back pretty far. For the legs, you can, oh yeah, he goes about this far out with the arms. I forgot to show that, and you can go in as well. For the legs, you can kick forward about that far, you can kick back about that far, way more than 90 at the knee. You do get an upper thigh rotation as well, and then you do get ankle ball joint, so you can readjust those however you feel like it. So you do get some really solid poses out of this guy, and you can. It's just some of it's a bit limited, but overall, I do feel that this guy moves around very, very, very nicely. Alrighty, folks, here is Vegeta with all of his accessories. As you can see, you do have separate faceplates, so taking a quick look at those, look at that. That is an awesome face sculpt. You can see the yelling face here looks very, very nice. Overall, very cool. You can see the more gritting teeth face here as well. Looks really solid. I'm very, very happy with how this came out as well. Looks awesome. And then finally, you do actually come with an entire separate head, which is very cool. The Super Saiyan God head, as you guys saw. But like I showed you, there really isn't a difference. You see, for setting them side by side here, there really isn't any difference between these two. So when it comes to these two, you're literally buying the same figure, but again, that was my initial goal anyway, so I am happy with it. But it's really awesome that they do add a separate head. Part of me does wish that they would have just made separate figures, but you know, that's the argument of whether people would have wanted to pay for that, right? Instead of having, you know, both in one or both options for display. But yeah, really, really cool. Otherwise, to change the face out, very simple. You just got to remove the front here, and then you do have the, so you have two peg holes here, and then you do have that big peg. So if you take a look at the back of these face plates, you can see that you have the two pegs there, and then you have the one peg there, and so you can just peg hole there. So you can just do that. Very, very simple to change his face. So you can see that right now. And to change his head, also very simple. So we'll just put the original back on real quick here. To remove the head, just gotta pull up on the head Yep, like that. And then very simple, you can see that there is a ball joint hole there, and then there's the ball joint here at the neck, and then you're just going to go in and Alright, I found it much easier to take the front faceplate off and then aim the ball joint, and then you can just put the faceplate back on. But there is his actual Super Saiyan God head, so you can see that. Very easy to swap the head out, so nothing crazy there, but very, very nice that, again, that they offer you the entirety of another head as an accessory. It's always very cool to see. So again, I'll show you how to do this much easier. So we'll remove that, and then just aim at the ball joint, plug that in, and then you can just plug in the head and the faceplate. And there we do have Vegeta back with his normal head, a Super Saiyan Blue head. We'll set this all off to the side. You can see the other hands that you do get. You do get some like fighting pose hands here, so some pretty standard hands. Nothing crazy, but you do get these fighting pose hands like this. You also do get blast effect hands like this. Very, very nicely molded with the white as well as the molded in details there. And then you also get some more fighting pose hands as well here. You can see those look very nice as well, the classic Vegeta ones. And finally, the classic Vegeta thumb, as he did with Super Saiyan Blue and Super Vegeta and stuff like that. Here's the classic Vegeta thumb that has gotten him killed over and over again. Or not killed, but annihilated. And then you do also get the cross arms, as I had with the other Vegeta. So these, as you can see, very easily go on like this. I'm glad I can actually just show that here. They go on like this, so you just remove the arms at the bases, and then like right here at the shoulders. And then you can just remove those and then put those on, and then you do get something like this, and that looks really, really solid. So very, very cool that they also add these. So very, very nice to have the cross arms. Vegeta without cross arms is kind of a bit criminal in my opinion, because that's like his most iconic pose. After that, the last accessory I'd like to show off is obviously the stand. So it looks really cool. You do get this nice thing, but it doesn't come with actual stand, attachments, which does suck. But at the end of the day, it does look very, very cool. You can see the blue looks amazing. I mean, that blue looks absolutely fantastic on this, and I'm very, very happy with how that came out. And so that's really it for the accessories, folks. And so, folks, for my final and concluding thoughts on the SH Figuarts 15th Anniversary Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, this is a solid figure. Now, obviously, the big question is, this is just a re-release of the original, so is it worth it to pick up? In my opinion, yeah, I do think, because if you want to get the original Dragon Ball Z Vegeta Broly figure, at the end of the day, it's going to cost you like 200 some bucks, and this is a bargain, in my opinion, at around, I think it was 130 to 150, and that's still expensive, and that's obviously where the other argument comes in. Is he worth the 150? I honestly don't think he really is personally worth the 150. I think he's worth about 100 at the most, maybe 80 or 90. But at the end of the day, when it comes to this figure, I would rather pay a much, lower price, even for this 15th anniversary edition. The $70, it's crazy $70 price difference between like getting this. I remember when I was looking for the original figure, it cost so much money to get that figure. But I was an idiot. I did pull the trigger on it, but I'm happy to finally acquire it at a more reasonable price, even though I wouldn't necessarily say it's reasonable. So again, there is an argument for whether I recommend yes and no. Yes, if you really want the figure and you never got it before. Yes, if you want the other display alongside the Super Saiyan God, like the regular Super Saiyan God Vegeta. But if you already have this figure and you don't care to have another one, don't bother picking this up. So I did pick mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll leave a link in the description to that. Out of a 10, I'm probably going to give this figure probably an 7 or an 8, probably an 8. I'll just give it an 8 because I do think that it's cool. The accessories are nice. The added stand is very cool. The box art is also very cool. Would they add this little sleeve here? And again, I picked mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll leave a link in the description to that. I'll see if I can find it on Amazon too, and I'll also leave a link there if I can find an Amazon link. But that's really it for the review, guys. Now it's time for me to talk about Akira Toriyama, the man who made and created this series. May he rest in peace, I just wanted to talk about my experiences with Dragon Ball, and so I will. And if you guys want to click off the video, go ahead. I want to detail my experiences because I hope you guys can relate, and I just want to honor the man who created a huge part of my childhood. I remember that when I was a kid, my first exposure, I think, to Dragon Ball ever was the original Dragon Ball Budokai game, which guess what? I happen to have it right here. It was the original Dragon Ball Budokai game on the GameCube. I was over at my friend's house, and I remember I had to have been maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9 years old, and he was playing this, and I had no idea what this was. I actually saw Frieza being played on screen, and I thought he was a girl when I was a kid. But yeah, my experience with this game, this was my first exposure ever to Dragon Ball, and I had no idea what it was. And going from there, after, Budokai released and I was playing it when I was a kid, I ended up watching a lot of Nicktoons when I was a kid, and it so happened to be that they were airing Dragon Ball Z Kai on it at the time, and that was huge for me because I was like, oh, this is a character I've heard about for a long time. Am I going to go and actually watch the show now? So finally, ended up watching the show, and the way I would watch it was that I would come home after school every day that the episodes were airing, and it was going to air in my area at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, something like that. And the only place I could watch it in my house was in my parents' bedroom because it had the cable box that had access to the Nicktoons channel. So of course I sat there. I would patiently wait, after school. You eat your little after school snack or whatever, and then I'm like, I want to watch this like right away. And I watched from all the way from the start of the Saiyan saga with Raditz all the way through to Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Buu. I watched all of Dragon Ball Kai every single time they were releasing a new episode, and my anticipation for the following episodes only grew more and more. And of course, because of me watching the show, I started to slowly find out that there were more video games, that there were t-shirts, that there were other media, that had to do with Dragon Ball. And so when I was a kid, I became enthralled with it. And because of that, not only did I, pick up a ton of like the merchandise, I picked up games like this. Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I picked up Raging Blast 2. Played Ultimate Tenkaichi. Got into the Xenoverse games and played a piss ton of these. I have Fighter Z and Xenoverse 2 just behind me. And so for me, like, I grew up so much with all of this stuff, and we're gonna, reorganize this real quick, but you guys can see, put that there, because I think Ultimate Tenkaichi came out before Xenoverse, but this, array of Dragon Ball games was my childhood. This was these were some of the most played games I ever had when I was a kid. And so for me, as I grew older and older into middle school, into high school, my love for Dragon Ball only grew further. And in my middle school days, I remember middle school, I think, I remember Christmas very vividly. I wanted to watch Dragon Ball whenever I could, and the only way, obviously, at the time when I was a kid was mainly through DVD, right? And so I was desperately wanting DVD versions of all of Dragon Ball. And I knew that there was a digitally remastered full collection set of all of the Dragon Ball episodes that you could get on DVD. And I remember I had gotten into the kitchen to get some water or drink, maybe a snack or something, and it was around Christmas time. I saw my dad wrapping one of those. I don't know if you guys remember those boxes where they were like twice the size of a shoebox, but maybe half or so the height, and then you would put more formal clothes in there. And they would be wrapped with like tissue paper to prevent them from wrinkling, right? My dad was wrapping one of those boxes, and he was almost done. Like, he had literally was like pretty much taping it together, so whatever he was wrapping, I couldn't see it. So I asked him, "Hey, Dad, what are you wrapping there, and who is that for?" And he didn't tell me what it was, but he said, "Oh, it's for your aunt." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't think anything of it. And so my dad usually, before he sends things out during Christmas time, or my mom does, they usually put it under the tree just to make the tree look nicer, right? So you have gifts you're going to send out, whatever, right? You put it under the tree to make it look a bit nicer. What happening was, this Christmas morning, I still see that wrapped box there. I'm like, "Oh, hey, I thought you were going to send this to my aunt, right?" And he goes, "No, it's actually for you." So, of course, I'm excited, rip open this, and at the same time, you have to understand it was bulging, so it wasn't fully flat like the box. You could tell that at one end of the box it was bulging because whatever was inside that box didn't necessarily fit in it, but my dad made it fit as best he could. Unwrap it, take the cover off the box. Lo and behold, it is all of the Dragon Ball Z digitally remastered seasons on DVD, the whole collection. And I was so excited and so happy. That's one of the fondest memories I have of Christmas when I was a child. And speaking of which, guess what, folks? I still happen to have all of it. And as you can see, the corners are ruined, everything like that. But I watched them. I watched these as a kid. When you're a kid, you actually use the stuff that you buy. For me, that is how I, was in my childhood. When we got these, I watched all of them. I mean, look at the season 9 one here. It's completely ripped to all hell. Like, I use these. I watch these. They all still work, but at the end of the day, I watched it. And it meant so much to me as a kid. And so as I got older into high school, I remember that there was a convention that was happening near me, and it so happened to be that Christopher Sabat was going to be there. It was one of the major reasons I was going. And for those of you who don't know that name, Christopher Sabat is Mr. Vegeta as well as Piccolo. He is the English voice of both of them. And for those of you who watch My Hero Academia, he's also the voice of All Might. So I got to meet Christopher Sabat, signatures, autographs, got to talk to him. Such a humble guy, by the way. Absolutely amazing person. And I had nothing but a good experience with him. And then that love only permeated up until where I am now as a young adult. And so I just wanted to say that, the major crux of my love for Dragon Ball now as an adult is primarily the message that Dragon Ball gave. Not only did Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the cast get stronger so that they could be stronger to fight their enemies and protect their loved ones, but they also became stronger to better themselves. Their greatest enemy at the end of the day wasn't the enemies that they were fighting, it was themselves. They always bettered themselves. They always made themselves stronger. And for me, who's on a fitness journey trying to just make my life healthier, that has resonated with me even more nowadays. And so, Akira Toriyama, from everything you created, from Dragon Ball to Chrono Trigger to all of the other things that you've made, you've genuinely have touched the lives of so many people. And the thing with Akira Toriyama's creations is very rarely do you get someone who's able to create something that not only permeates through millions of people, but through different cultures and language barriers. It's crazy that me loving Dragon Ball throughout my entire life can connect with someone in South America, for example, where I don't know their language, don't know their cultures very well, but we still can connect very, deeply on the level of like if we have Dragon Ball in common. It's awesome that people just loved it. Mexico's huge into Dragon Ball too. And all you guys who are Mexican out there, Spanish, you guys love Dragon Ball as well, and that's amazing that I can connect with you guys. That's so cool. Obviously the Japanese audiences, but all over the world. It's very rare you get a soul, a person who's able to create something that can do that. And so at the end of the day, Akira Toriyama, may you rest in peace, but your creations, your media, everything that you made will live on forever in the work that you did. So thank you for that. And I'll say that, this is the first time that the death of a pop culture personality actually made me cry. Um, the night that he passed away the night that they announced he passed away, it's like time stopped for me. It's just Dragon Ball has such a big influence on my life that it really hit me deep. So, my last words in this video, Akira Toriyama, rest in peace. You will never ever be forgotten. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.